So our next set of problems are going to introduce a new concept that we haven't talked about yet. So we've been talking about dominant and recessive, and that is the most common, but that it does not explain all genetics for all organisms. So there are other situations between two genes that can occur. And today we're going to go over incomplete dominance and codominance. So notice that incomplete dominance is when they show a blended phenotype, and then complete dominance or codominance is going to be that both are expressed. So we can see examples here, and you're going to see that we're using different lettering than we did before. So before we did a capital and lowercase, that's because you had dominant and recessive. Now we have two dominant, basically, traits that are competing to be expressed. So we're going to use all capitals, but notice we use two capitals. So if this one example is about flowers, that we were kind of did maybe the color red and the color red. So you would have two genes for color red. If you have two reds, then the flower would be red. If you had two whites, color white, then the flower would be white. But if this was incomplete, what we'd actually see is that if they had a color red and a color white, it would make pink, right? Red and white would make pink. So you can kind of see like that kind of example down here. This looks more purple, but whatever. But that's how you would get those different types of colors in the flowers. Now, if it was a codominant situation, what you would have is the same lettering. So we don't change the lettering. It's just what you actually see. So you need two reds to be red, two whites to be white. But if you had a red and a white, then maybe you would see a flower that was red and white. Down here, I'm showing you kittens, and you can kind of see how these kittens actually have orange and black. And that's how they end up being mixed like that, because they show codominance in their coat color. Another example, I don't know what this is, like if you were yellow and then blue and yellow would be green, that would be incomplete. Or you have yellow, you have blue, and if you had both, then you'd be yellow and blue, and that'd be codominant. So these are just examples of it. Here's a better example of the flowers. If you crossed all red and all white, your first generation would be pink because they'd all be CRCW. But then if you cross two pink flowers, then you're going to create that CRCW, CRCW, and now look what you get. You get a red, you get two pinks, and you get one white. So it's a 1 to 2 to 1 situation. So you might start seeing these. We don't use this a lot in this class, although I think in AP you would see more of this writing where it explains the probability in this way. And then codominance, this is a good example, foxes. So vulpes is a species, and we do find, the common name would be red fox. But actually, when we see red foxes, we can actually find them to be completely black, same species, or we can see that they're red and black. And so this is a really good example of codominance within one species of fox. All right, so again, we have two example problems that I'm going to work out for you. And I'm going to switch over to the document camera and your notes packet to show you how to do these problems. All right, so again, I'm in the notes packet, and here's our problems. Our first example, in the fox, FB is black fur, FW is gray fur, and FW is white fur. So different example than the fox that I just showed you. So if two gray-furred foxes mate, what is the probability? So let's do this. What are our parents? So 2 gray furs. Here it is. FB, FW, FB, FW. Going to do our same Punnett squares we did yesterday. And we have FB and FW. So that's one parent, right? The other parent goes on the top. FB, FW. Now you might say, what are you going to write first? I always just follow the example and the problem. So if the example and the problem is FBFW, then that's how I write it. So again, we're going to fill out the boxes, FB and FB, right? FB comes across, FB comes down, FB comes across, and FW comes down, FW, FB, FW, FW. So I have filled out my Punnett square. Now, going back up, reading the prompts. What is the probability they will have black fur? Well, to have black fur, you need 2 Bs. So 2 Bs, just 1. 1 out of 4. How about gray? Well, to be gray, you need 1 of each. So this one and this one, that's 2 out of 4. 1/2. White, 2 whites, 1 out of 4. Same genotype as the parent. Again, this is the parent. The genotype is FBFW, and that would be this one and this one, 1/2. So another example too, as we're thinking about those kittens in the beginning in our discussion, not all of the, fox puppies would be the same color as the parent. If the foxes are heterozygous, then that's how you end up having only half of them might look like the parents, and then the other half don't look like the parents. That's how you can explain why offspring don't look like parents. Now, if the parents are all heterozygous or homozygous, if they were all FBFB, then what are all their puppies going to be? They're going to also all be FBFB. So it's really about whether the parents are heterozygous or homozygous for different traits. And that's why the offspring either will look like their parents or they won't. All right, next example. In turtles, the sharp-toothed allele is TS. The dull-toothed allele is TD. Some turtles have a mixture, TS-TD. So notice I've stopped writing 2. There's no reason. I don't have to tell you everything because you should understand the way it works. It always takes 2, and it has to be 2 of the same to be that. So I don't have to tell you TS-TS or TD-TD. And then you'll even see, I probably will even drop telling you that part. So just keep in mind, I don't have to tell you all the letters. That's something you should be able to figure out based on your knowledge of the genetics. All right, so what are our parents? If a sharp-toothed turtle mates with a mixture. So a sharp tooth would be 2 of these. TS, TS. A mixture is this one, TS, TD. Drawing in, first parent goes on one side. The second parent goes on the top. And then we fill in the boxes. After we fill in the boxes, we answer the questions. So what is the probability they will have sharp tooth? Sharp tooth, again, it has to be 2 S's. 2 S's, 2 out of 4, 1/2. A mixture has to be 1 of each. 2 out of 4, 1/2. Oops, I almost wrote 1/4. 1/2. And then dull teeth. None of them will have dull teeth. 0 out of 4. And there you have it. Incomplete and codominance problems. It's the lettering that's different, and then kind of, what we're seeing with the genotypes and the phenotypes. So now it is your turn to practice and do your work.